For more, I'm joined by Dr. Zhao Longchao, former diplomat in charge of Science and Innovation and International Innovation Cooperation expert, and Itamar Grotto, Associate Director General at Israel Ministry of Health. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Dr. Zhao, I want to start with you. Why is China reaching out to countries like Israel for technology instead of developing it all at home?
It's very good to be here. Reaching out, I would say, is an integral part of the Chinese opening policy. Engaged 40 years ago, the Deng Xiaoping opened the country in 1978, and economically, we really have integrated the world economy by entering into the World Trade Organization, WTO, 2001. And then, last month we signed the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement that will be a free trade zone accounting for 1/3 of the global GDP. And in terms of technology, science and technology, China has already signed international intergovernmental SMT agreements with totally 114 countries, and including Western countries. In the case of Israel, one year after the establishment of diplomatic relations between Israel and China in 1992, we also signed the same SMT agreement with Israel in 1993. And then at the beginning, that was mainly a science cooperation. The two governments put together $5 million to support science projects. But later on, I would say there is a big interest from the business communities on both sides. So I would say it's really a kind of mutually beneficial cooperation relationship.
Mr. Grotto, I want to get your opinion on that. What can Israel do for China when China is such a major tech player globally and Israel is such a tiny country? What does Israel have that China might want, for example, in the area of healthcare innovation?
Of course, by some measure, Israel is much smaller than China, and we know that. But in some ways, China and Israel have much in common, especially when it comes to healthcare. Both of our population are becoming older. We both experience rising pressure on waiting times in hospitals and rising cost of healthcare. Plus, the advancement of medical technology present both of us, our nations, with crisis and with opportunities to grow together. The main area that brings China and Israel together in healthcare is what you said, what was mentioned here, healthcare innovation. It is a perfect match for both of our nation's strengths. As China's Prime Minister and Israel's Prime Minister said during the state visit to Israel, Israel has earned a reputation for innovation and technology, and China has mastered the art of growth and scale. So China, as mentioned by China's Vice President, rightly said that both are needed, innovation and scale. So Israel, as one of China delegation said in this delegation, Israel's technology and innovation can take you from 0 to 1. China's powerful ability to scale can take you from 1 to 1 billion. So I think by cooperating and matching our strengths and strengths, we can help China move forward faster, and we can make the world a healthier place together.
Okay, Dr. Zhao, tell me more about China's shift from being a manufacturing powerhouse into an innovation powerhouse.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think innovation is really a necessity for countries' future development. First, our labor costs are increasing rapidly. So it's something like 10% increase for the labor cost since 10 years. That means we have been losing our competitiveness for those labor intensive industries, something like clothing, shoes industries. They are now moving to lower income countries like some Southeast Asian countries. Second, we really need to address societal challenges by innovation. I would like to take an example of climate change. Just our president just announced the commitment of China to reach CO2 emission peak by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060. That means just a big shift for the energy structure, and we have to just develop clean energy industries and as well just in other sectors like energy saving and environmental protection. And we need to really find those solutions by innovation, and not only find the solutions, but also to make those solutions costly effective. So I would say innovation is not a kind of option, it's a kind of just necessity for the country.
Okay, and Professor Grotto, given China's ageing population and people's rising expectations about healthcare quality and delivery, do you see opportunities for Israeli innovation and technology in the medical field despite the difficulties of penetrating the Chinese market?
Well, of course. First of all, coping with the challenge of aging the population and rising healthcare expectation is an important area where both China and Israel are truly coming together, and where Israel has something to value share. Israel has 90% patient satisfaction rate at home, top-tier ranking by international health measures, one of the lowest cost per capita and highest life expectation in the world. So we are very efficient. Also, when it comes to innovation and technology in the medical field, Israel is widely recognized as one of the world's leaders in healthcare innovation. While some find it difficult to penetrate the Chinese market, we have found our cooperations and healthcare agreement in China to be harmonious and beneficial to all. Some examples include the signing of an implementation agreement with the mayor of Yangzhou. China is in an online ceremony for the implementation of the emergency preparedness project in the city. This is a strategic project signed by the Israeli Prime Minister and Vice President of China that combines Israeli expertise, technologies, and information systems in the field of emergency preparedness. We also have an agreement with China's Hainan province to write a clinical feasibility study as a first step in establishing the first rehabilitation hospital in the province based on Israeli knowledge and expertise. The key to our shared success is combining technology with medical knowledge and integration of technologies. When we bring together everyone's strength, it's a mutually beneficial cooperation. We hope to continue and grow our partnership and cooperation in China, to continue leading technologies with medical knowledge, and to save lives and shorten China's path to success.
Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. That is all we have time for. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.